The claim was simple. A tree fell on the roof in a storm, the damage was obvious, and the policy clearly covered it. The homeowner expected a check in a few weeks. Instead, she got a request for documents. She sent them. Then a request for different documents. Then a question she had already answered. Then a new adjuster who asked her to start over. The insurer had not denied her claim. That was the point. They were not saying no. They were making it take so long that she might stop asking. There is a name for what she was caught in. 3 words: delay, deny, defend. It comes from a book by a law professor named Jay Feynman, who studied how some insurers shifted over decades from paying claims promptly to managing them as a cost to be minimized. First, you delay the claim. If delay does not make the claimant give up, you deny it. And if they push back, you defend that denial in court, where you have far more time and money than they do. Delay is the first move because it is the cheapest and the most deniable. No one can prove that asking for one more document was bad faith. Each request looks reasonable, but strung together, they become a wall. Every cycle resets the clock. Every new adjuster has no memory of the last one. The claimant, meanwhile, is living in a damaged house, paying bills the claim was supposed to cover. The insurer loses nothing by waiting. The claimant loses everything by it. The strategy works because of a simple asymmetry. For you, the claim is your whole world. For the insurer, it is one of millions, handled by a department measured in part by how little it pays out. The adjuster on the phone may be perfectly polite. The pressure is not personal, it is structural. The system is built so that the person under stress is the one asked to wait, and the institution with endless time is the one doing the waiting. The deny stage arrives when delay has not worn the claimant down. The denial often rests on a clause, read in the way least favorable to you. Pre-existing damage, wear and tear. An exclusion buried in the policy. The reason does not have to be strong. It only has to be plausible enough to force you into the next stage where the burden flips. Now you are not waiting for a check. You are trying to overturn a decision written by people who do this for a living. Defend is the final stage, and it is where the math becomes brutal. Take the insurer to court, and you face a company with a legal department, deep reserves, and no urgency. You face years of motions. Most people cannot wait years. They have a mortgage now, a medical bill now, a life that will not pause for litigation, so they settle for less than they were owed, or drop the case. Defending is not about winning every case. It is about making fighting so expensive that most people never start. This is not a fringe theory. State insurance regulators conduct what are called market conduct examinations, and several have produced findings of systematic claim handling abuses at major insurers. Some carriers have paid large settlements over practices that match the pattern, including computer systems designed to push claim payouts downward. Consultants were hired, in documented cases, to help insurers treat claims less as obligations to pay and more as negotiations to win. The playbook has a paper trail. For the homeowner with the fallen tree, the delay stage alone did real damage. 3 months of an open hole meant water got in. The water caused mold. When the insurer finally engaged, they argued the mold was a separate, excluded loss, not part of the original covered event. The delay they created had manufactured a new reason to pay less. The longer the claim sat, the worse the damage got, and the more grounds the insurer had to dispute it. The one real weapon on the claimant's side is the law of bad faith. Most states require insurers to handle claims fairly, and an insurer that delays or denies without a reasonable basis can be sued not just for the original claim, but for additional damages. A genuine bad faith verdict can cost an insurer far more than the claim ever would have. That risk is the counterweight. It is why the delay has to stay deniable, why each request has to look reasonable. The insurer is managing its own exposure, not just your claim. How you push back inside the delay. Document everything in writing. After every phone call, send a short email summarizing what was said and requested with the date. This turns a deniable sequence into a record. Send documents by methods that prove delivery. Note every duplicate request, because a pattern of repeated, unnecessary demands is itself evidence of bad faith. The insurer's strategy depends on the chaos staying off the record. Your job is to put it on the record, cleanly, every time. And know your deadlines, because they cut both ways. Many states impose time limits on how long an insurer can take to acknowledge a claim, investigate it, and pay or deny it. When an insurer blows those deadlines, that is leverage. Cite the statute. File a complaint with your state insurance department, bring in a public adjuster or an attorney early, not as a last resort. The strategy is built for the claimant who fights alone and quits. The claimant who keeps a record and names the rules is a far more expensive target. She kept the records. Every email, every duplicate request, every date the insurer let slip. When she finally brought in an attorney, that timeline was the case. The insurer settled the full claim, plus the mold its own delay had caused, because the paper trail had turned their deniable little requests into a clear pattern. Most people do not keep the records. Most people get tired, and tired is the entire plan. Delay, deny, defend was never about the merits of your claim. It was about your stamina. The fine print bet you would run out of it first. If this one stayed with you, episode 59, on how insurers reverse most denials that people actually appeal while almost nobody appeals, is the other half of this story. The strategy only works because most of us walk away. It is on this channel.